Ancient Egypt, a civilization of gods, kings, and eternity. From the golden temples of Thebes to the silent tombs of the Valley of the Kings, Egypt built more than monuments. It built myths. Myths that spoke of immortality, divine lust, and power beyond comprehension. But beneath the shining sands lies a darker story, one rarely told. A story of rituals so forbidden, of acts so unholy, that even the priests dared not speak their names aloud. Tonight, we open the sealed tomb of Egypt's most forbidden acts, the hidden rituals of lust, death, and divine desire. Welcome to the most forbidden acts of the Pharaohs, ancient Egypt's darkest myths. In ancient Egypt, gods did not live in the sky. They lived among men. The pharaoh was not a ruler by blood. He was the living embodiment of a god. To touch him, to gaze upon him, was to look into the divine. But what happens when gods crave what mortals do? Love, desire, possession. Egyptian mythology is filled with forbidden unions between gods and humans. Stories the priests disguised as divine miracles. Osiris, the god of death, was said to have resurrected only after his sister and wife Isis reassembled his broken body and conceived their son, Horus. A divine act of creation, born from love that defied death itself. To the priests it was sacred. To us it is something far darker, an ancient obsession with the fusion of love and death. The palace of the pharaoh was more than marble and gold. At its heart stood a room no servant could enter, the sacred chamber. Each year, on the night of renewal, the pharaoh was said to join with the goddess of fertility, not symbolically, but physically. A priestess chosen by the temple would embody the goddess herself. It was believed that through this act, the Nile would flood, the crops would rise, and life itself would continue. But for many of those priestesses, this ritual was not divine. It was sacrifice. Their bodies became vessels for the will of the gods, and once their duty was done, many were never seen again. Archaeologists have found chambers beneath temples in Abydos and Luxor, sealed rooms filled with carvings of women surrounded by serpents, lotus flowers, and eyes watching from the dark. Were these symbols of rebirth, or warnings of what truly happened behind those walls? To preserve divinity, the pharaohs turned inward. They married their sisters, their daughters, their mothers. The royal blood of the gods, they said, must never be diluted by mortal flesh. Tutankhamun himself was the child of a brother and sister. DNA evidence confirms it. His body bore the marks of deformity, his lineage cursed by generations of divine purity. But it wasn't only about power or bloodlines. The ancient texts reveal something more terrifying, a belief that the union between close kin mirrored the perfection of the gods. The sun god Ra created himself through himself. The god Atum was said to have brought forth life through his own seed. To be divine was to exist beyond human morality. In the hidden temples of Hathor and Isis, another order existed, women trained to awaken the gods. They were called the Daughters of the Lotus. Their rituals combined music, dance, perfume, and ecstasy. Through their bodies, the gods were believed to enter the human world. But not all who entered the temple left it whole. Some texts describe women possessed, losing their voices, their sanity, whispering in unknown tongues long after the ceremonies ended. Archaeologists have uncovered masks with hollow eyes and golden tears buried beside female skeletons. What were these women? Holy vessels, or victims of divine madness? There is one story the scribes tried to erase, a tale carved on the walls of an unfinished tomb near Saqqara, the tomb of Neferhotep and his beloved. She was not his wife. She was a temple dancer, chosen for the ritual of renewal. But Neferhotep fell in love with her, breaking the divine law that separated God from mortal. When the priests discovered their affair, the woman was sealed alive within the tomb, and Neferhotep ordered that his own heart be removed to join hers in the afterlife. Centuries later, explorers found the mummified remains, two bodies facing each other, hands bound in linen, lips almost touching. The inscription between them reads, "We defied the gods, so the gods made us eternal." In Egypt, death was not an end. It was a doorway. The body was sacred, every organ, every breath. To touch the dead was to commune with the gods. But some priests went further. The Book of the Dead speaks of forbidden rites, rituals to unite the living with the divine essence trapped in the mummified body, a way to steal immortality through intimacy with death itself. One ancient papyrus, found in fragments, describes a priest lying beside the preserved queen so that her soul may awaken once more. The text was burned soon after discovery. Its location today, unknown. The Egyptians believed that every act, no matter how dark, echoed forever in the afterlife. The soul, the Ka, would be weighed by the gods. Those who sinned too deeply would be devoured by Ammit, the eater of hearts. But what happens when sin itself becomes divine duty? When lust, blood, and ritual are all in the name of eternity? Perhaps that's why so many tombs remain sealed. Not to keep grave robbers out, but to keep something else in. So what were these rituals truly? Acts of faith, or echoes of madness disguised as religion? The sands of Egypt hide more than mummies. They hide a civilization that blurred the line between holiness and horror, between gods and mortals, between life and death. And maybe that's why their temples still stand, not as monuments of devotion, but as warnings. Because power, desire, and immortality always demand a price. If you wish to uncover more of history's hidden truths, subscribe and step with me once more into the dark.